occasional disagreements caused by political circumstances, but the unity was maintained until 1054, when there is a definitive schism between the Orthodox East and the Catholic West. During 8th, 9th, and 10th centuries, Rome and Constantinople cooperated on a number of church issues. During the Byzantine Emperor Basileus I, the primogenitor of a famous Macedonian dynasty, the christening of the Serbs received an important and very significant impetus. In 866, the Arabian fleet of 36 ships laid siege to Dubrovnik, having previously raided South Dalmatian coast, Kotor and Budva. After 15 months, citizens of Dubrovnik asked Constantinople for help. In 867, Basileus sent to South Adriatic a powerful Byzantine fleet of 100 ships, which, under the command of the admiral Nikita Orif, turned the things around. Arabians retreated to Bari, their most important stronghold in southern Italy. According to Byzantine sources, it is then that Serbs, Croats and other tribes, Zahumljans, Travunians, Pagans, Dukljans and Konavlians, addressed the emperor, expressing their wish to join Byzantium and again receive the Christianity. Basileus sent missionaries who fulfilled this task. This second wave of Christianization was supposed to lead to the creation of church organization. However, there are no archaeological data nor historical sources to support this assumption. It is known that around 870, Neophyte and Nicholas, the emperor's men, passed through Bulgaria on their way back from Serbia. However, it is not known whether their trip was related to Christianization of Serbs. Archaeological excavations at the site of Vrsenica on the Sjenica plateau led to the discovery of a church within the early medieval fort. The same result happened as a consequence of excavations at Postin near Novi Pazar. It seems that churches were built within larger settlements, probably as churches of the courts of local lords or the ruler himself. There are remains of a town that was surrounded with 2 rings of walls near Ivanjica, above Moravica. There is a church of St. Elias by the citadel. The cult of this saint is one of the oldest Christian cults, and the name of the mountain Jelica near Čačak, where remains of an early medieval settlement were found, was most likely derived from his name. There was a large settlement on Jelica, dated from late antiquity, where 5 churches have been discovered. The early medieval material shows the continuity of the settlement in this particular place. The St. Elias cult, in Slavic mythology related to the pagan supreme god Perun, indicates that this was an ancient church. Indeed, the present-day church, renewed in the early 20th century, was built on an ancient foundation. Layers used as decoration for window arches, found around the foundation, indicate that the benefactor of this church was perhaps the very duke who lived in the citadel. The city on the Gradina, above Moravica, ceased to live by the end of the 12th century. From the time of the Byzantine Emperor Basileus I, the ruling ideology, based on Christianity, is gradually being formed. This strengthens the Serb ties with Constantinople, and Serbia politically begins to ally itself with Byzantium. The Byzantine Emperor had the right of imperial mercy to appoint rulers to other peoples. This was also true for the Serbs, whose rulers needed these acts in order to solidify their position among Serb tribes, as well as among the neighboring dukedoms of Zahumlje, Travunia, or Duklja. The reputation that a Serb ruler achieved through the support from Constantinople enabled him to establish himself as the supreme ruler of all the Serb dukedoms. The axis of that power resulted from Christianity, and the ruling ideology developed from it. The Church of Dubrovnik relatively early assumed that Serbia, together with Zahumlje and Duklja, was under the jurisdiction of its archbishop. Even though this church structure was a reflection of formal rights which Dubrovnik allegedly enjoyed since 1743 and the edict of Pope Zacharias, it stubbornly remained well into the Middle Ages. It was simply taken for granted that these lands were under the spiritual guidance of the Archbishop of Dubrovnik. At the time, Dubrovnik was the most important city in southern Adriatic. In the church sense, it was, just like the whole of Dalmatia, under the jurisdiction of the Roman Pope, even though it was politically part of the Byzantine Empire. The competing issues of church and political jurisdiction was not very important until 1054. At the eastern borders of the Serb state, another church organization was being formed, the Bulgarian Church. During the rule of the Tsar Peter, between 927 and 969, Bulgarians completed their church organization, and its westernmost bishopric towards Serbia was in Ras, near Novi Pazar, based in the Church of St. Peter. This was the only ancient episcopal Bulgarian church which survived until today. It will later be the seat of the Serb bishop, but in the early Middle Ages it was Bulgarian. The eastern border of Serbia began around Ras. During the 10th century, Serbs were already regarded as Christians, just like all the other citizens of Byzantium. The Emperor Constantine Porphyrogenitus, wishing to underline the distinction between the Old Serbia, which was around the river Lab, and Serbia on the Balkan Peninsula, used the term christened Serbia, as the lands to the north were not christened. Each time Constantine Porphyrogenitus mentioned Serbia, he made it clear he meant the christened Serbia. Therefore, the Byzantine Emperor's impression was that around 950 Serbs were Christians. The only Serb tribe to enter into contact with Christianity later were Neretvians. Attempts to christen them, which were first originated